If Knights of the D-Pad was so good, why isn't there a Knights of the D-Pad 2?
There is now. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, audience members of all varieties, to Season 2 of Knights of the D-Pad.
We're not disembodied voices.
Yeah, we have
We're actually
video.
people now.
We're actually people. We're not
I'm
AI.
a real boy!
I was just gonna say that, dang it.
I was going to make a joke about
We're not
Detroit
AI.
become human, but I think that's
We're
better.
not AI generated. We're not generated by chat. What is it?
ChatGPT.
Hey, speak for yourself.
That's why his voice is so buttery.
I don't remember editing you in post.
You didn't. I appeared on your computer of my own volition.
Uh-oh.
You shouldn't have downloaded
Oh,
that
no,
one game on the
no.
free website.
It's Agent Smith.
Agent
Smith. Just
Just
Monica.
Kyle.
No.
Just Kyle.
We always got to bring back a reference to
Just
Ducky.
Kyle.
Just Kyle.
Cub.
Nothing but Kyle. Just Kyle.
man.
I am the only thing you need.
Yeah, welcome to season 2. We're now in a different location. So, for those of you
Yes.
unaware, before we were recording in an audio booth in the BYU Broadcasting building, but we are now in the BYU Communications Brim Hall building, more so on campus in their newsroom lab, in just like a corner that's
Yep.
got nice like shutters. Look at these. I don't know how much you can see outside. It's really dark and dreary. I don't think I'm gonna put that.
It's snowing.
I think it's, yeah. We have this whole new setup. We have video with 3 different cameras.
Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, whoa!
It's so cool, so advanced. And anyway, we've been wanting to do video for a long time. So now we're all set up with the equipment to do so.
And it
It's exciting.
only took us half of our young adult lives to do it.
All right.
All right, Cort.
So
It
anyway,
took a long time to set up. That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't
You
think
know-
5.5 hours is half my young adult life.
it was a long time, though. And speaking of things that have been a long time, it's been a long time since we had a last episode. Lots happened. Christmas break, New Year's, stuff like that. What happened in everybody's lives?
What'd you do, Cort?
Court.
Cort.
What'd you do?
I went on a cruise and it was really fun. And I hung out with my family and I ate an unholy amount of ice cream. As you do on
Those
a
free
cruise.
ice cream
Like,
machines? Yeah,
right?
soft serve.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it wasn't a soft serve. It was like
Wait.
there was this lady and they had like she hand scooped like every single scoop. It was crazy.
Okay, now that's not as justifiable. You are making somebody work. See, when I go on,
Goodness,
She was
we make
already
somebody
there.
do their job.
when I would go on cruise ships, they just had like the unlimited soft serve ice creams. You just got, and they would change the flavors. But if there's someone actually scooping it, Cort,
You were
you
like,
made that poor lady work for you.
That was her only
Her
job.
arm is
That
just
was what she was
aching at the
doing
end of the
whole-
day. She's like, that one kid.
That
that one
no,
guy.
no,
hated
no.
my guts.
That one.
No,
was
no,
it at
no,
least good flavors?
it's like those memes with like, here comes the airplane, where you're just covered in ice cream, and you're just sitting there. You're like dripping, like shaking, and you're like,
She's just like,
Scoop.
what can I get?
you
for
just say that. You
you?
just say,
And
scoop.
Scoop vanilla.
But yeah, it
Oh,
was
that
really
was
fun.
so-
I
what-
swam with a sea turtle. It was great.
What was the company you went with?
Holland America?
I can't say I've heard of that one before.
They're the old people one.
That
All
does sure okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
on a
Grandpa.
lot of cruises, there's a lot of old people. It's because, like, now that they've retired, they don't need to, like, bring their kids along, and they've got money from a lifetime of career.
A
so-
small loan of $1 billion.
One day I will be that person. I'll be old and going on cruises.
I mean,
Well, you're
might as
young
well.
and going on
It's
cruises.
true, but I'll also someday be old. and
Going
going
on
on
cruises.
cruises.
I mean, you've already been on at least one more cruise than me.
I've
so.
been on
True.
2. both
Bro,
with
I haven't
Carnival.
been on any cruises.
Hey, no
They're very
cruises.
fun.
Hey, there you go.
I don't know if we should really be fist bumping about that. I feel like that's
Yeah, no money, no fun.
like, yay for being poor. No.
I
Yeah.
did not go on a cruise for a break. I just went home to Houston.
Cringe.
It actually got cold. It was like 12 degrees the weekend of
Well,
Christmas.
because of the
cringe.
huge cold front that just
Yeah,
swept
it
in.
was like it
Yeah.
got to like 12 degrees, and then the Thursday after Christmas was back in the 80s. Just normal Houston things.
For
We
some
have
reason you said back in the 80s, and I know you meant like temperature, but my mind went
Back
to,
to
like,
the Future.
like,
Here we go.
Like the 80s, like
Marty
the year, the
McFly
80s,
is
like, the
coming
years
out.
that I was like, oh man. Like,
So it was
the whole
cold. It
town
was
time traveled. Like,
it was bipolar
Movies. Yeah, I've seen
weather.
this one. It's a classic.
Bipolar weather as always. I just gamed. I got over 100 hours
Just
on
gamed.
Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. I'll out myself now visually. It doesn't even
Weeb.
help that I'm wearing a 02
He's a
t-shirt.
weeb.
How much of that can we see behind the laptop?
You can see it.
Decent.
I can stand up. Look at that. It's 02
02.
t-shirt.
There she is.
Yeah, I'm outing myself as the resident weeb. But no, so
Simp. Ooh.
No, I was given this before I came
No,
to
he
college.
simps for
That's exactly what
Xenon.
I would say too.
Yeah, you simp for Xenon, not.
So I got over 100 hours on that. I had to fight a boss. So like there's this infinite labyrinth that's like more floors than I have patience to do. But like after you get to, well, what's bad about it is like you go through dungeon floors and all the dungeons, there's like, they all look the same. The same
great.
aesthetics, like the floor plan layout is slightly different and the enemies are a little different, but like visually it's the exact same music plays and you're like, after you do it, and you can only leave every 10 floors. It only saves every 10 floors. So you have to sit there. You're like, I'm committing an hour to doing 10 floors.
Oh, you know what this
labyrinth.
reminds me of? So, Pokemon Coliseum. There's like this end game content that's like this. Why am I forgetting the name of it? But you have like 100 floors, and you can only save and recover your Pokemon's health every 10 floors.
And so the labyrinth was that, and so you're like sitting there with the same thing, same music. But after the 100th floor, there's like a boss. You beat it, you get Kirito's swords from the anime, which are like busted from anything that you can usually get. So you get Dark Repulsor and Elucidator. And so I was like, okay, I just want those because I dual wield swords. And the bosses every 10 floors aren't too terribly difficult. Yeah, they're like hit sponges, but they don't like hit hard. And so I thought I had done like the floor 90 boss. I was like, okay, I think I can kind of expect for the floor 100. I walk up and hit him once, and I go, oh no. And he hit me. He hits me once, and like 3/4 of my health go down, and I'm like, oh no. So I go.
Time to become a Dark Souls player.
Straight
Dark
up.
Souls mode
So
on.
like, it took me about 45 minutes to an hour to beat this boss, and it was like a repetitive thing of like swinging between hits, but then there were some hits where I just like there was no way I was gonna hit him, so I'd run away, but some of my party members would take down, and I'd have to like strategically dodge them to res them, but the more times I'd revive them, the longer it would take. And so by the time I got to like the last health bar, it was only me and one of my other party members. 2 of them were dead because they died like 8 times, and I didn't have 45 seconds to sit there. And we got to like, and it was another one where you had to like hit him a bunch of times to like bring up the stagger meter, and you can only do good damage when the stagger meter is hit. So you're basically doing the damage twice. It only took me 1 try though.
That's impressive.
I cheesed my way to a single victory.
You know, in bosses that hard, I don't think there's any problem with cheesing it.
But I'm not. I could go up to the 1000th floor, but I don't think I want to do that 9 more times. And supposedly the floor 1000 boss has like 2 billion health.
All right.
And I don't
So wait, is the dungeon?
Well,
is
okay,
it?
then.
It's not like the levels. Like they're not like Aincrad's levels.
No, they're literally just like small dungeons. You find a
okay.
key and you go.
Okay.
It gives you good XP and weapons and stuff. But yeah, that's what I did. Played a lot more Osu as I do, and got back into Stepmania, even though I'm pretty sure I play it wrong. Stepmania players will get mad at me when I say I use like 3 fingers on the arrow keys. Yeah, Jason doesn't happy with that. It's not very good for streaming because when you're trying to do up and down, you're like having to bounce your middle finger up and down. It doesn't work. I've recently in the last couple of weeks trying to get into like the 4 fingers. It's faster. I'm still
getting into carpal tunnel speed.
Well, I've been playing Stepmania like that for about 1.5 years now, and I haven't had any medical issues.
Okay.
I just have to get better with accuracy using 4 fingers and getting more coordination on it. But it's fun. I enjoy Stepmania.
Makes sense.
So, what did you do?
Well, I guess I'm going to out myself a little bit for weebishness as well because I finished ReZero Season 2, and it was...
That's only 12 episodes.
Look, it's...
How many days did it take?
A while.
Yeah, no, you're not going to out yourself as much as me. I take down 12 episode shows in 3 days.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a married man and,
Yeah.
you know, about to move. And this leads me to the other piece of news, which is I discovered the gender of
Being a
my
responsible
child
human.
over the break. So...
What is it?
It's a gamer.
My favorite gender. What is your gender? Male, female, gamer. And if you select gamer, it's a further drop down. What kind of gamer? Casual, competitive, try hard.
Sweaty.
There's
Sweaty.
Sweaty. There's subgenders underneath gamer. No, there's like this meme. It's like male, female, Chipotle. Have you guys seen that? Like, there's just this weird one.
He's going for the ultrasound. I'm sorry. It's a Chipotle.
It's a Chipotle. Please.
I saw one that was like upload custom gender, maximum file size.
Yeah, that's right. It was enough to upload Doom. Doom. My gender is Doom.
My gender is the entire original Doom game.
So what gender is your child?
It's a boy.
It's a boy.
I'm gonna have a little son.
Hey, it can be less cringe when he plays games. Or more cringe. Oh,
Wait.
wait a minute. It's more cringe.
I think everyone can come up
Sexism
with their
from
own
Aiden?
cringe.
Look, us guys gamers are very cringe. We are.
Speak for yourself.
Dude, you are a guy gamer.
I think
Do I
all
have an
gamers
inherent
are
bias?
not cringe.
I think
I
all
like-
gamers are
I like that.
cringe.
We've got two sides of the spectrum here. Fight.
That's cringe.
Mortal Kombat.
Jump across the table.
See, I depicted you as the Wojak, so I win.
That is how the internet
Don't
is working
understand,
right now.
Barry.
I made you the Wojak and me the Chad. Clearly, my opinion is right.
So was your child's like customized sliders? Like what were the max stats? What was the D20 rolls on those? High end?
High end, very high end. A little small in the weight class, but
Oh,
we're
so like
expecting
me.
that to fill out a bit more later. But I mean, look at me. I'm not exactly the beefiest person on the planet, so probably a low weight class.
Meanwhile, Ben.
I'm still agility based on how much he moved during the ultrasounds is
Oh, he's
very
fast.
high,
Is
very
he going to
high.
give Sonic a run for his
Oh,
money?
Give you a little
Genji
speed
player.
demon.
No! What have I done?
Genji player.
At least
Oh
he's not a
no,
Hanzo
it's a
player.
rogue.
No, it's a rogue.
It's a rogue.
And I mean, like last night, I felt him kicking on Nikki's belly for the first time, which was,
Oh, he's practicing his DDR skills already.
practicing- exactly right. Kid's gonna be amazing at
Is your
DDR.
Hasagi? No way. what does Genji say when he uses his ult?
Rudu sugar. I'll
Something
play
like
the sound.
"Kurao."
I
I
speak
remember
Japanese.
that's the last part of it. is
I
that
don't
"Kurao."
remember.
I don't.
And we're gonna do game show style to decide the name, right? Family Feud. We interviewed 1,000 people on campus. This is the most common boy name. Joe.
Ben
Oh,
2
gosh.
was what we're going
Ben
to
two.
call him,
No,
I think.
If we're going with Ben, it's
is
gotta be
so
Ben
great,
10.
Why isn't there a second one? Ben.
Well, then he
2.
becomes a league
Now that-
And
player.
make your own.
Then he becomes
Wait.
a league.
Wait.
Then he becomes a league player, and I don't know if you want that.
Yeah.
No, I'll make him a league
And you
player.
can't name him Cort because then he's a Fortnite player, and if you name him after me, he's just a weeb who plays Overwatch.
Yeah.
You,
Clearly, I
your
need my
options
child to be
are,
a Genshin Impact player, so I'll name him Kyle,
Kyle
Jr.
2.
Kyle 2.
No, Kyle 2. Forget Junior.
Kyle
Kyle
2.
2.
Kyleson.
Kyle
Just go after the Irish.
Yeah.
Kyleson.
Kyleson.
Kyleson. With an underscore instead of a hyphen. It's like a gamer tag.
No,
Oh,
you're just
no.
gonna wake up one night and you're like your crib is just gonna be empty, but instead with like it's a little rock swaddled in clothes. It has little googly eyes on top, and I'm running away with your child, and like you're gonna be
He's
the
putting him
next
through the
Faker.
League of Legends.
It's got like my kid in one hand, laptop with League in the other.
You're, like,
teaching him all the
watching-
key bindings.
You don't put him to sleep with like bedtime stories. You just show him old like Worlds footage.
And this is how so and so clutched
This
the
is
ending
how
in
Faker
Worlds
became the goat of
2003.
League.
Tell me, child, what is your favorite TV show? I really like Bluey. No,
No,
you
you
like
like
Arcane.
Oh well, so you were a responsible person over the break, unlike us. Were you a responsible over break, Ben?
I mean, I didn't play any video games,
Oh,
so
shoot.
that's. I
That
was
is
basically I
responsible.
was just hanging out with my family.
What?
You did.
Family?
You touched like grass and
I
stuff.
touched grass.
Oh my gosh, what did it
In
feel
winter?
In winter. Well, I was in Virginia.
What color
so
was it?
It was kind of the same thing. It was green.
Oh,
But it was the same thing where it got to like 12 degrees because of the cold
Yeah,
front.
cold front.
And the next day it was like 60, 70.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was out in the farm with
out on the
Down the
farm.
farm.
Out on the
jeans and a
farm.
t-shirt.
Christmas
and I was
for
like,
Cowboys?
Totally.
It's a Wrangler ad. That's what he was doing.
No, he's like that one quote that is referenced to Waterworld. It's like, "Green grass is not a myth. I have seen it."
No, but that's only attributed to Waterworld.
only
It's not in
attributed
it.
to
Thanks,
Waterworld.
SAO
That's-
abridged.
Yeah. Our true education in the 21st century.
There you go.
So you just did actual like real people things.
Yeah. Rode four-wheelers. Went to eat some food. It
Wow.
was great.
He only ate once throughout the entire break.
Ate once.
He kept the food meter just high enough.
Found
My
that food
saturation was
the
on the-
You had the
Prime
highest saturation.
saturation.
You had the really cooked
See,
steak.
that's why he
Yeah.
was on the farm. Was he needed to have the resources to min max his food for that maximum
Min-max.
saturation?
No, I just ate one cow.
An entire cow.
Just one bite. All right. Well, that was good. Good catching up. The audience can now see us. We can see them.
We're in your walls, audience.
No.
Yes,
Oh,
you.
no. Anyway, so we're changing the structure up slightly for season 2 to help try and shave down on some just rambling when we got to news. So before, we'd each bring a news topic and then we'd talk about each one and it would kill like an hour of your lives. No longer. we're only going to, we each bring lots of news things, but we're really actually going to discuss like 2 of them. We will like briefly mention, no longer than like probably 5 minutes max, of some other topics, but we'll mainly talk
Should
about
probably keep them even shorter than
even
that.
shorter than that. We'll feel it and we'll go. So each week it'll just be 1 or 2 main topics and a bunch of small topics. So Ben, you have our first major topic. League of Legends is going up in fire, isn't it? Flames?
The fire and the flames. Yeah, it is something else. So at the start of every season, there is like a big reveal. There's like, oh, here's all we're gonna do for this upcoming season, and it usually is accompanied by like a big opening season cinematic. And this year it was like basically nothing. Like we had something, but it was just like there were really high expectations for this year because there was a tweet by one of the like league main developers, like people in charge of all this kind of stuff by Riot Games, and they said that this year was like the biggest budget for League of Legends there ever was. Like it was the largest budget League had for like creative development.
And they cut down on the content.
And so this League of Legends season start cinematic came out. There was a cinematic, and it was basically an RTX version of the League of Legends map with a camera just kind of like swimming around, looking at stuff.
Okay, that's kind of neat.
With just random quotes. It was like
cinema.
It was like a kind of it was supposed to be a poem, quote unquote, but it was just like 90% quotes by League of Legends characters, and it was just it was just nothing. It was like the music was completely empty. They had like esports stuff thrown in there. Like they had casters, how like they'll be yelling stuff like a big play happens.
Lines, yeah.
They had that kind of like fading in and out every once in a while, and it showed that like League just doesn't like Riot Games does not care about League of Legends.
Wait, okay, I'm watching the video now. What is this? There's like at the very end. There's like it has a slogan: "Make your mark." Isn't it supposed to be "Leave your mark"?
No, it's supposed to be "League your mark."
They missed the opportunity.
They missed it.
No,
it's
it's shown a shift from Riot Games caring about the actual in-game lore, caring about like developing
how fun it is,
because that's another topic, but
it's League.
It's League. So it's showing a shift about caring that side and caring more about esports and the ranked ladder, and showing that like they don't care so much about
the filthy casuals.
The casuals. It's about, getting these hardcore people who are going to spend money on skins, who are going to, like try and become pro players or try and become challenger level players.
You don't get the pro players until you've hooked in the casuals.
Well, I can understand why they're doing that though, because like the business idea is like the more competitive hardcore gamer is going to be the ones who spend the money on it. The person who plays the fleeting hour every few days is not going to be spending any money on League, so they're not going to get any money from that.
I mean,
it's showing such a massive shift away from League is a fun game to this is
as a platform for money making.
This is a platform for money making.
That's never gone bad for any company ever.
No, never.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit here. At least Riot is picking a player base to cater to. Blizzard has no idea what player base they want to cater to with Overwatch, and it leaves it a mess. So while it may not be the best decision, at least they've made a decision.
Okay, I'm actually gonna hard disagree with that. I think being and kind of like whatever is a lot better than being just like we're only gonna cater to our hardcore competitive professional players, because that's like such a small fraction of your community.
That's where all their money comes from, though.
Well, sure, but it's like it's like a pyramid, right? I mean, it's like a pyramid.
It's like a pyramid scheme.
It's like a pyramid scheme. No, it's like a pyramid, and it's like the casual fans, the people who enjoy the game for what it is, are the base of that pyramid. And yeah, maybe most of their money is coming from that top, but if they start focusing only on that top, that base goes away, and when that base goes away, the pyramid collapses. Everyone dies. The end.
I feel like it also is just a small. It's just difficult. But that are they making the whole content, or are they basing like patch changes and hero changes on competitive play?
So it's always been like that, where like it's patch changes are focused around
the competitive ladder and pro play.
Competitive ladder, pro play, and then like quality of life.
Okay, well that's different because in Overwatch they don't. Some of the things they say for why they balance. I'm like, you don't understand what you're balancing
Yeah,
for.
that's true, I guess.
But if League already has been doing that, then okay. If it's strictly from the content side, how do you even cater to only the pro play and competitive, like hardcore gamers with the content?
Well, you don't for long.
That's why there was little to no content. It shows
it's
that
like the competitive players don't care about content.
They're wanting to sit back and put minimal effort into that part.
Okay, well that's
so
different.
that
Never mind.
they can
I
rake in
resigned
money.
my statement. I was under the wrong impression.
I mean,
they're just
that's
making
not
the
to say that
lazy
Overwatch
decision.
is in a good spot either.
oh well,
right?
Overwatch is in a terrible spot.
Overwatch is a mess, but I'm sorry, Bastion.
So
No, it's not you who should be apologizing to Bastion.
It's the people who
made Bastion.
who made
The people
Dominic's?
making calling the shots.
didn't give him a hat in the first game.
Exactly. These are the important things, didn't you know? Yeah.
So it's just overall like it's showing that League, or Riot Games at least, is shifting away from caring about, making a fun and good game and just making money. And so like
That never bodes well.
No.
Not once.
and so it also shows they're caring less about League and more about their other more profitable games like Wild Rift and Valorant.
How is Valorant more profitable than League?
I don't know. It's got a more active pro scene.
Well, it's
I'd
also
say like so it's at least
What?
it did win at the Game Awards Best Esport, didn't it? Valorant.
No, it was League still.
It was League.
No, I was pretty sure it was
League has a
Valorant.
way
No,
Valorant
it was
player
Valorant. It
base,
was
though.
best esports event. Was
The
League.
event went to League,
The
but
event
the
went
game
to League,
went
but
to
the
Valorant.
game went to
Yeah,
Valorant. How
that's
is
the
Valorant
game.
a bigger esport than League? I refuse to believe that.
It may not be
It's-
bigger, but remember that profit and revenue are two different things.
Valorant just came out in China. They didn't even have the Chinese viewers.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
imagine once they get the Chinese viewers.
So it's they Valorant got a cool theme song and opening cinematic for their. It was lore based,
Mhm.
agent based. That's the version champions, and so it was showing that like Riot Games cares about Valorant because Valorant's going to make them money, but League of Legends has kind of quote unquote hit its peak for that kind of stuff, and so
Riot's so spoiled.
a week a week afterwards, like the League of Legends developers and stuff, they like released a video where they're like, oh, we apologize, we're sorry that we didn't hit the mark with this stuff, we're gonna have a cool cinematic in 2024, we're gonna have more game modes, because that was like a big thing people have been arguing about.
2024. It's the beginning of 2023.
Yeah.
You're like, don't worry, we
don't
let you
worry.
down this year, but wait 12 months.
Wait a whole year.
Just you wait.
They're saying that like, so one of the big things
that we
people
hope
have
you
been upset
forget.
about is game modes, because like before they were fun game modes were like for events like Star Guardian or all this other kind of stuff where like there's like other things happening where it's not just you're playing on Summoner's Rift, you're playing the basic kind of game. And so they're saying that, oh, we're going to release some new game modes, which should be exciting, but like they've been quote unquote releasing new game modes with the other ones where they released the one where each player can get just randomly pick an ultimate to be able to use. And so like I'm just worried that it's going to fall into the same lines where it's like, sure, it's a cool new idea, but it's not really a new game mode as it was in the past, where you had like Star Guardian, where you had like you were defending against like waves of enemies coming to just destroy your. It's kind of like more like a tower defense, but you're playing as champions. And so,
So, really quick, I'm going to interrupt you because I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the cinematic that they showed was an RTX version of the League map. Is there only one map in League? I was under the impression that there was it was like a series. There was a bunch of different maps.
no, there is one map, and there's technically another one, but that's basically it's just the map, but
Reskin.
only the middle lane.
Okay.
How is that? What?
Yeah, so there's just one map.
So I'm assuming the map is pretty big then and pretty varied to keep it interesting.
How? Huh? One map.
There's one map. If you play on the same map every single game, and it's what's happening in the game that makes it different.
I guess
That's-
I guess I could cut. I mean, you play on the same island in Fortnite for the whole season, you know. So it's like
I guess, yeah.
I guess that kind of makes sense. Does
And
the map change over time? Does it get like things added and take it away from it?
I mean,
Visually.
seasons. There's
Yeah.
stuff that happens. Like, for example, when they added the new dragons,
Okay.
they like it will make changes to the map.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
the ocean dragon will make it so there's more bushes to hide in.
Okay.
The mountain dragon will make it
The
so
the
there's
map
more.
changes.
Okay.
There's more mountains. There's like more walls.
Okay,
stuff like that.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
So Riot is pivoting to the Blizzard model of screw everybody else except us. We want money.
Mm-hmm.
And
Welcome to the fan club of the Overwatch players.
It shows that when they say that they
Not
have the
Epic
biggest
yet,
budget they've
maybe.
ever had,
And
It's-
yet they skimp on things.
it's the biggest budget for skins. That's 100%. That's what you will.
Oh,
That's what it is.
microtransaction.
They're just going to make
I love
4 times as
microtransactions.
many skins as they have ever.
Get ready for the League Battle Pass. It's coming.
That is unless
Oh, they've had battle pass.
Oh,
things.
I didn't realize League had a Battle Pass.
They do things for like events.
Oh,
where-
that's not a Battle
Oh,
Pass.
okay.
That's
No,
different.
Halo Infinite
Permanent
does something
battle pass.
similar where it's like there's like 2-week long like events with like free battle passes that everyone can earn.
Oh.
But also Halo Infinite's multiplayer sucks. So
Tell me something I don't know. It's Halo Infinite. Don't expect anything.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically the gist of it. Like there was just huge backlash against Riot, like
Understandable.
showing that they don't care, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hopefully things will get better because of
Or
the
they won't.
the backlash, or they'll just keep getting worse because Riot just wants to make more money, and so they'll skimp on expenses such as making a good cinematic.
Spoiled
Yeah.
League players.
You gotta have the small things before you can try to make money on the big things.
That's true.
It's just so funny to me that League is like it's reached its peak. It's like not as making as much money. And I'm over here thinking like literally almost every other game publisher would kill to have a game like League right now.
It's, right. It's like, oh, you're past your prime. I was never in
my
your
prime.
prime.
I was never even in your prime. It's like, they're looking to Valorant. It's more profitable than League, and I'm just saying. If you're saying League's not profitable enough, my goodness, your priorities
you
are
need
right.
to take care of some
Yeah.
other problems you have if League is not
Well,
profitable
it seems
enough
so
for
weird
you.
because it seems like League should be like at the height of its popularity since Arcane came out.
Right?
And that brought in so many.
And
new
they're
people,
bringing
I
in like a
imagine.
second season that's just going to build the hype even more.
Right?
It's
It's
funny.
like, so help me if they skimp on the second season of Arcane.
Jason.
You okay, Jason?
I will literally die if the second season is not as good as the first
Well,
season.
they have the biggest budget ever.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Riot will have riots if the second season is
Right, well,
good.
Riot's on
Well,
their
because they set
hands.
such a precedence with the first season. Like, it was so
Yeah, it's
good.
amazing.
So good. There's a reason it has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It is a incredibly well written,
One of the-
well animated. It is one of the
Beautifully
best.
animated.
One of the best TV shows ever.
Mhm.
Yes,
Guys,
so
I have
good.
to leave. I'm going to go watch
Arcane.
Arcane.
Forget the podcast. I'm just going to binge Arcane again.
Bye.
Yeah, but hey, speaking, let's go on to a few more news topics. Let's do another short one real quick. So, bringing things back to the struggles of Halo.
343.
Yes.
So Microsoft, along with a lot of other companies, I think Riot, Google, like there's been going like waves of layoffs.
Mhm.
So Microsoft's been having layoffs, and supposedly 343 has had like up to like a third of their staff laid off. Like Microsoft as a whole, as a company, isn't like laying off a large amount of people, but like it seems like 343 has been targeted at a lot of those layoffs. And on top of that, they're being probably forced or like taken off of the front development of Halo
Yes.
moving forward.
Well,
Which
that's
is- Oh, you go.
well, that's the thing is I've been seeing some reports online that Microsoft is wanting to transition away from having Halo as its flagship game franchise.
Because it's done so poorly. So yeah, it's like
well, you screw over the game. What else do you expect?
So like the specific phrasing in most of the articles is like 343 is taking on a parental role for Halo, so like overseeing the new games and keeping the engine running. But then in terms of like development of of new content of the new games, they aren't the ones directly involved with it.
Well,
So
that'll
like
be
the
interesting.
sequel to
Yeah.
Infinite that's starting to be worked on will not be headed by 343. 343 will be like an overhead like publisher like
I hope
Do we know
343
who's
stays as
doing it?
far away from
no, I
Halo
don't
as
believe
possible.
so. So
Let's put
it's just
Bungie back in charge.
Exactly.
Right.
Bungie
We
just got
miss
bought by
Bungie.
Sony now, so
well that would be
That's
direct
never gonna
competition.
happen.
yeah. So here's the thing. It kills me though because 343 was created with the sole purpose of making new Halo games after Bungie left. One of the main characters in the first Halo game is called 343 Guilty Spark. That's the name of this little robot.
They should have seen the
company-
foreshadowing.
It was named after that, like after that character. That's why it's called 343 Industries. I'm pretty sure, at least. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
It lines
Um,
up.
But and it's like It was made with the intent to make Halo games, and they failed in every conceivable way.
Just like 343 Guilty Spark.
That's true. Yeah, he didn't do great either.
You should have.
They're staying more
They were
accurate.
trying to warn us.
They were trying to warn us. They knew.
So luckily, moving forward, 343 is just taking a back seat for future titles. So hopefully
good.
that is a good sign for future Halo.
Hopefully, we get the
games.
team that that worked on Master Chief Collection to do the rest.
Yeah,
of it.
maybe.
They did a
Maybe.
really good job.
So Microsoft is dealing with
After they
that, but
fixed it.
then Google, Riot, all sorts of companies are like running. Their staff are being let go. And on the topic of Google, well, Google Stadia, rest in pieces, is
It's
now
now-
dead. Although we knew it was coming, they made an announcement back in November, I think, that they were going to
Yeah,
shut down.
But
Yeah.
it's finally happened. So.
But it's like Google has done a really good job of shutting it down. So it's like they're giving people refunds of things that they bought. They're like altering the controller firmware so that can be used as like a general Bluetooth controller. So like
Oh,
Google
that's
is doing
nice.
it correctly. They're just going, see ya, and just like leave it and leave all the infrastructure, just
I
walk
saw
away.
this article about this guy who put like 6,000 hours into
Red
Red
Dead?
Dead
Red Dead
Redemption
Redemption
Yeah.
on it.
on the Stadia, and then he was losing all of it.
yeah, he
and-
lost it completely.
And Rockstar like sent him this this care package.
Because Rockstar actually cares.
So yeah,
Rockstar
like
cares
Google,
about their
Google and
players.
the games that are on the
More than
Stadia are
others.
like
Yeah.
they're like, thank you for participating with the Stadia, thank you for buying it, and they're like refunding people who want it. If they're like, yeah, you can have a refund since we're shutting it down and it was kind of sudden. You can use this controller now on other things. They're like letting them keep the hardware because it's like they're not recalling anything. It's just
Yeah.
the service is down. So it's, I guess if you know how to code, I guess you could you could try and go into the hardware that you do have, the controller or whatever, and try and finick with it a bunch. Because obviously Stadia is all online. I don't know too much about Stadia, but I believe they have
yeah, I mean,
hardware.
that's nice that the controller is being made so that it can be used on other things. Because I've heard that the Stadia controller is just like top of the line quality.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we
it's
should have
like-
had that on the controller list, but none of us have used it.
None of us have used
Yeah,
it.
so that wouldn't work. But hey, that is a way to do things with grace. You know who hasn't been doing things with grace?
Who?
Wizards of the Coast.
Ooh, transition.
Yeah, because this ties in pretty well with what Riot has been doing, but even worse.
It's
Because
pretty bad.
you think that not putting out a fancy video is bad?
Well, how about taking away all of the fancy?
How about
videos?
taking away everything? So, and actually tying into Microsoft, the CEO of Wizards of the Coast used to work in gaming at Microsoft. I don't know a ton about what she did there, but I have a suspicion she worked on adding all the microtransactions and making all the bad decisions.
I love
Because-
microtransactions.
Oh.
Get ready for the D&D Battle Pass.
the
The first ever tabletop Battle Pass.
The thing is, they might have done that had the community not given the backlash we did. Because just out of the blue, they're all so years ago. You guys need to understand this. Years ago, Wizards of the Coast, when they were getting ready to release 3rd edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Yes.
I was just gonna say, just for people who don't know, Wizards of the Coast makes Dungeons. And
Yes,
Dragons.
Wizards of the Coast owns Dungeons of the
Dungeons
Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, and a handful of other IPs. But D&D and MTG are kind of their two big ones. So back in a while ago, right before 3rd edition of D&D was going to be released, Wizards of the Coast created the Open Gaming License, and this is very important. The Open Gaming License happened because they realized that, like, if there wasn't enough activity going on in tabletop, if it was really only D&D and everything else was just kind of piddling along, not doing much, then the whole industry suffered as a result. So they made this thing called the Open Gaming License. Like, here are some rules, mechanics, and even like characters and other details in D&D. Use them. Just don't one-to-one copy our stat blocks, our lore, or settings, but use all these other resources. Basically, it's a huge package of resources you can use to make a tabletop game.
It's the source code.
Exactly. It's pretty much like giving out the source code, right? And it was like, you can use it, no royalties, no licensing issues. This license is just let you do whatever you want with it. Because of that, we have Pathfinder, we have a gajillion games, and tons of third-party homebrew content that you can use with D&D and publish and even sell. And there's been this massive industry that's built off of that.
Like
It's amazing.
there's a podcast called Critical Role.
Critical Role is
That-
so
Critical
good.
Role.
It
That's
has
actually
its own show now on
Yeah.
Amazon.
That's
called,
actually
Vox
different,
Machina.
though, from the Open Gaming License. That's the fan content policy.
Mhm.
But yeah, it enabled D&D and tabletop to thrive enough for that to happen in the first place. And I got to say, they did a fantastic job with Critical Role and with Legend of Vox Machina.
Don't watch it though because it's kind of bad sometimes.
No. You just if someone ever says, "Where's Scanlan?" Just skip ahead.
Just skip
30
ahead.
seconds.
Actually, yeah, that'll solve it.
You will miss nothing with the story. That's what I did. That is exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to know. The rest of it is fantastic. Getting into it, right, it allowed a thriving ecosystem. It allowed the community to thrive. It did all these amazing things, and it really made creativity happen. And it made it possible to where, like, if Wizards of the Coast didn't put in the effort on some of their modules, Descent into Avernus, the fans did and made it better. It's a campaign module for D&D 5th edition.
Oh.
That was it looked like every chapter was written by a different person. And there are some rumors that it may have exactly been that.
Huh.
Which is a terrible strategy.
So what has happened now?
Well, just a short time ago, Wizards of the Coast made an announcement that they were going to revoke or deauthorize the original Open Gaming License version 1.0a.
Well, no, wasn't it a leak?
Well, it was leaked because they sent this out as a contract for independent content
it
creators
wasn't
to
even
sign.
an announcement. It
It
was
wasn't
a
an
leak.
announcement. It was a leak. They had secretly sent this thing out for people to sign and agree to. And it was the most egregious thing ever. It's like you need to report all profits of any third-party content ever sold to Wizards of the Coast. If you make over a certain benchmark, you need to give 25% of revenue,
Oh my gosh.
not profits.
Yeah, I think
revenue.
it's over 750,000.
If it's 750,000, which admittedly only hits a few people, but that's a 25% royalty on revenue. That is insane. That is like business killing types of royalties. They tried to completely shut down virtual tabletops. Like, oh, if you have a virtual tabletop, which is like a very important part of running D&D games, especially after 2020, because freaking COVID. Like they're like, you can't do it with D&D unless you follow all these like really strict rules. They had basically, it's like they were trying to lawyer their way into controlling how you play D&D, how you work with D&D, almost how you talk about D&D.
and to
not
earn
that
money
far.
off of you doing
and
it.
earn money off of this stuff that was designed to promote the industry, which made D&D thrive in the first place, which shows an egregious fundamental lack of understanding of what tabletop gaming is and why D&D is successful. And like it just, and all these things were like, and they were starting to basically get it to the point where they could have put in a D&D battle pass, and no one would have been able to do anything about it. It was like they were trying to steer it towards the road of microtransactions, all the stuff that's been in the gaming industry, that's been a cancer on the gaming industry.
Yeah.
The fan community, however, you can show they didn't understand the fan community because
They kind of...
the people who spend money on D&D, the people who pay to do this stuff, are the people who make the complexities of the rules of tabletop gaming their hobby. We use rules lawyer as a term unironically. They didn't expect that we would see through every single lie because they were framing it like, oh, we're going to use it to create new provisions to prevent the creation of hate speech content related to our brand.
Who's doing that with D&D?
one's
Exactly.
doing
Who's
that with
doing that with
D&D?
D&D? And the fact remains, they could already police it using other means. It
Yeah,
wasn't
like the law.
Yeah, like the law. Like, you remember our media law class, defamation.
Straight up.
There are ways to do this. It was just a thin veneer that they're like, oh, this is a way we can trick people into thinking we're trying to do things good, but no one fell for it. The whole community was in backlash. People are boycotting Wizards of the Coast products. I'm in the boycott of Wizards of the Coast products. We're signing petitions, stuff like that. It's crazy. Well, a few days ago, they released what they thought. They were silent on it for a while, which had us all thinking, like,
Wasn't
okay,
it
they don't
on
care
Thursday?
about us.
I think it was Thursday.
Yes, on Thursday, they released an apology and this new version of the Open Gaming License, which does a few things right. First of all, it would take like a lot of control of the Open Gaming License and put it in the hands of Creative Commons, which is an organization that we already know would not try to screw over people for money.
Ooh.
But they still included deauthorizing the original Open Gaming License, putting rules on virtual tabletops where it's like, don't do anything you couldn't do at your table. Oh, you have spell animations? Nope, can't run
What?
D&D.
Well,
It is the
so
dumbest.
dumb.
They're like, it blurs the line
Crack
between
down on the
tabletop
production
and video
quality.
games. Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that though. That should be
Exactly.
something they should be leaning into to
Well,
like
that's the
make
thing.
more money with that. Like,
There's the thing, though. this is to try to make more money because they're about to release their own virtual tabletop.
Yeah,
and so
right,
they're
they
trying
are.
to gut the other ones of features so that theirs will be the best by default. Which, if you're trying to make your product the best by default, you are doing everything wrong.
By shutting everybody else down.
Yeah, by shutting everybody else out, you're doing everything
I mean,
wrong.
that is
Just
literally
make a better
the
product.
equivalent of like taking a picture and then stabbing everybody else before the picture starts so that you're the best looking one in the picture.
Yeah,
Like,
I could not have made a better analogy if I tried.
Like-
You are 100%
like,
right.
I think there's a Goosebumps Goosebumps book for this, where like this person gets like a genie lamp or whatever,
yeah.
and like, oh, I wish to be the best person on the soccer team,
Just kills everyone else.
and everyone else just like breaks a leg or like gets really sick, so they automatically become the best person on the soccer team. But she, like the person who made the wish, didn't get any better. The genie just made everyone else worse.
Yeah.
It's like that is the exact
Yeah,
wrong
you
way to
can't
go
cripple-
about anything.
It's one of those decisions that if you're a suit and a tie working in an exec position at a big company
corporate execs.
and you're a
yeah.
corporate exec and you see that on paper, you're like, that sounds great. Let's do that. But then
You know, Joe, I was looking through these papers this morning.
But then
I
when
really
it-
like that idea.
I really like that.
think
But
about
in practice, it goes out and it just is
Mhm.
awful. And you have so many decisions like that being made
Yeah.
nowadays.
It's like way
And
to
it's like-
prove that you have never worked with this content you're selling a day in your life.
Exactly.
You know, you are like so many levels removed from even just the
Yeah.
people who design the stuff. It's like you shouldn't be calling the shots. You should
Mhm.
not be calling the shots.
I think the thing is, like, the reason they're doing this is because in the whole like Wizards of the Coast IPs, there is like $2 billion kind of like going around flowing in this, and Wizards of the
Probably
Coast
more.
was themselves was only getting somewhere around a third of it,
Well,
and so they're like, this is close to like $1.5 billion of profit we could be making, but we're not because we're being so
Yeah.
lenient.
Yeah.
So they're like,
it's like
let's-
it's understandable for a company wanting to make money. You know, that's what companies do. They need to make money. Everyone needs to take their paycheck home and pay for bills and their family and stuff. I don't mind that. It's the scummy way they're going about it. Like, it all started with the CEO saying, "Hey, D&D is woefully undermonetized." And it is. But you know what they could have done?
Made better stuff.
Merchandise.
Merchandise.
You know,
always
everyone
stuff.
on like the community are talking about like, if you wanted to monetize, make stuff for us to buy. I would buy an Owlbear plushie. I would buy posters, mugs, whatever. Just make stuff. You are owned by a toy company, for crying out loud.
That's, I
Hasbro
think, the
owns
most
Wizards of the
ironic part
Coast.
of it.
Yeah.
We have the infrastructure to make the stuff, and all we get is a handful of like gimmicky toys that are like 20-sided dice, D20s, if you know the terminology, that turn into little action figures. That's it. You want to monetize?
Wait, they
just
have like
make stuff.
Bakugan
Yeah,
dice.
so they got Bakugan dice.
They are D&D Bakugan dice, and they're actually kind of cool. But the toy company makes only those, and then thinks that following like microtransactions and just lawyering your way into killing the competition is the way to monetize.
Bakugan dice. Let's go next. Let's go
This is the-
Transformers like books. Come on. Let's
Yeah.
have the Transformers D&D crossover.
I would take that over what they are doing, as cringy as that would be.
Cringy. Oh, no. Untapped market potential.
Untapped market. But it's like, that's the funny thing. They have so much untapped market potential with things they could just make
Yeah.
and then sell for ludicrous profits. And instead, they're just trying to lawyer their way into
Well,
profits.
and what's funny with all of this is that the first, like, everyone got a whiff of this on a leak.
Yeah.
Like, it'd been one thing if they had officially come out and said that, because at least they had the honesty.
Right.
No, they
And-
were trying to hide it from everybody first. Everybody got angry, and then they backtracked like 3 times.
They backtrack, and in none of those backtracks did they admit. They are still lying and saying that it was an unfinished draft. It had been sent out to be signed. That's not an unfinished draft. You don't have people sign drafts.
No.
So it's really bad. The boycott is still going. There's a lot of people like basically saying, hold the line, do not give an inch. Wizards of the Coast has put out a survey where they're like, we're going to work with you the same way we do with playtesting new content for future versions of the game. It is yet to be seen how much they're going to listen. But if you care about this, fill out the survey. I guess in an official capacity, I shouldn't advocate the boycott, but I will be participating.
This
in it,
man
continuing
personally.
to. I am going to continue to participate in the boycott until they get their act together.
See, the last thing I want to add, and what I think is really funny, so like with Wizards of the Coast and like the things that they can, when they were like trying to put this in, it's like because they basically were essentially wanting license and copyright over like the specific characters. If you use any of our like,
Oh yeah,
but what's funny is with D&D, it's like yeah they can copyright like a spell, like a magic missile spell that does this. But then if you just like change the name, you're like a fancy torpedo, well they can't copyright that.
Yeah,
you can have the same like abilities and
Mystical
actions for it.
projectile.
You just change the name and it's now complete because they
you can't copyright game rules.
Copyright ideas. You can only copyright the thing. So it's like they can't copyright the idea of rolling a d20 for like a skill check.
Uh-huh.
So people could just be like, "Oh, you're gonna copyright this? Oh, we're just gonna change everything. Oh, this isn't D&D anymore. It's our own." So like D&D doesn't need Wizards of the Coast.
That's the thing; it doesn't. And in fact, actually, a lot of these third-party publishers that have been making stuff for D&D have put together their
own stuff,
like version of an open gaming license. I think it's called the Open Resource
or something like that.
The acronym is ORC, which is amazing. Which tons of publishers have already pledged to support. A lot of like Kobold Press, Paizo, and a handful of other like the big ones, which make enough money that Wizards of the Coast was trying to target with the new open gaming license revenue provision, have just decided to leave D&D 5th edition or D&D behind, period, and make their own games.
Yeah, I think Wizards of the Coast has permanently damaged themselves.
They
moving
have.
Forward.
They shot themselves not in the foot, in the femur with this.
Ow.
Yeah. Like, it's just
I have a great way to
bad.
save our company.
Right in the leg.
That is exactly what they've done. It'll take years to get trust back if they try. Who knows if they ever will? So many people have sworn off of Wizards of the Coast products in general. And like I'm honestly like wondering, I was getting so excited for the new edition they're getting ready to make, and now I'm like, I don't know if I will ever play it because I just don't, the trust isn't there.
Unlucky.
Yeah, but anyway, I've ranted about this for long enough. We know it's bad. Keep holding the line, keep pressuring them to be responsible and actually have a modicum of respect for their community.
And that goes for not just Wizards of the Coast, but all companies.
All
companies. And just especially in the gaming industry right now, where you just have that. It's so prevalent. Like that.
If everyone's
if any
trying
corporate
to-
exec is listening to our podcast,
Stop it.
Stop
Yeah.
everything. Just
Stop it.
Don't get some help.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Get some help.
name's
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
But speaking of backlash, Court, there's another big franchise that's going through some backlash right now, right?
Wait, which one are you talking about? Because there's a lot. But yes, I think I know what you're
The
talking
one
about.
that's listed here.
Well, okay,
on the
yeah.
agenda.
Like- yes, okay. Hogwarts Legacy is coming out, and it looks awesome. Like, I will say, like, the gameplay, the open world, they've got gameplay footage out. Like, you can fly around in the open world on a broomstick and on, like a hippogriff, and, like, you can choose your house. There's, like, a bajillion different spells. The combat looks incredible. It looks amazing. And, I mean, it's set to sell pretty well. I mean, I think it's #1 like on pre-sale on Steam right now. Like it's doing pretty well.
Yeah,
but
the
there
Hogwarts
is
community is not to be underestimated.
Yeah.
But
there is backlash against it because of J.K. Rowling, the lady who wrote the original Harry Potter books. Yeah. She said some controversial stuff on Twitter. There's been a lot of people who are not big fans of hers, and it's an interesting thing because the Warner Bros. Has come out and said, like, very clearly, J.K. Rowling did not have any part in making this game. Like, it's based off of her world, but she was not consulted on it. Like, I think maybe a little, just
Maybe
like,
a
make
little,
sure
but-
to make sure it was like the world building was accurate.
Yeah.
But like, she didn't like
Makes sense.
have
Write the
any say in the
story,
story or anything like
characters.
that. And people were like, okay, that's good, but they're worried.
But it's still Harry Potter. She will get money.
She'll
from
get
this.
royalties from it. Exactly. And
Yeah.
so there's been a kind of an online
debate
over
buying the game or
buying
not
the
buying
game
the
or
game.
not buying the game because how you agree with
How
her
you agree
political
with her,
views
you are
and
not.
things.
And it's like, it's a fine line. It's like, because
It
it's
is.
like you boycott the game because you don't want the original creator who is controversial to get money, but then by not buying it, you're also not supporting the game developers who probably do not stand where she stands. So it's like,
Well, and then you go over the whole thing of there are a lot of people who don't even think that what J.K. Rowling said was that offensive. You know, I mean, it's like, and there are a lot of people that do. Like, it's
differences of opinion,
differences of opinion, differences of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I just hate to be the people at Warner Bros. Right now.
They're like, we can't make
who were
anybody
like-
happy.
Who were like, we've made this amazing looking game,
And,
but,
but
like,
what's funny is like we've made this amazing game and everybody agrees it looks amazing, but because of the original creator, it's not going to sell as well as it
Yeah.
should.
And just watch it be like a genuinely great game with no weirdness, no like corpo trying
It's
to
like
just
somehow in
squeeze money out of it.
2023, no bugs, perfect, no microtransactions. It's like
Great
what?
launch.
against the Geneva
Complete
Convention.
Yeah, illegal,
Right.
basically an illegal game.
That's why the controversy's there, right? The Geneva Convention felt it.
Just the cosmic Geneva conventions are descending. They're like, this game, no.
Must
good.
create
It's the
controversy.
rule of entropy, where all games must.
I will say,
slowly-
I don't think my personal opinion on this is that the people that are saying we're not going to buy this game because of J.K. Rowling is a very vocal minority, and I don't
Probably.
think that its sales will be too drastically hit.
That's
because
true
of
because
this.
like it's Twitter. Every vocal minority is going to
Yeah.
be huge on Twitter. That's just a fact.
Well, and I mean, you think diehard Harry Potter fans? I mean, they might not agree with, like, they may like really hate J.K. Rowling, but
They'll probably still
in the face
play
of a
it.
game that's that good, that looks that cool, and is like the first like real like solid
Yeah,
Harry
Yeah.
Potter game that we've had outside of like
the Lego
one.
games.
I was going to say, you
You know,
better not
like-
be dissing on Lego Harry Potter.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Potter.
I mean, they're gonna cave.
Yeah, I think it's all going to come down to the release, and if the game is a buggy
The game-
mess, then the people who
Yeah.
are boycotting it will feel
Will
will
feel
feel
vindicated.
vindicated.
Fully
Yeah.
But if it
vindicated.
comes out and it's like not like a flaw, because flawless games don't
They
just
don't
don't
exist
happen
anymore.
But if it's like a really good game for today's standards in terms of like an acceptable amount of bugs that can be fixed with patches,
Yeah.
yeah, then we'll be able to see. It's like people will then be more open. Like the game is this good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to punish the publishers because we don't agree with the
And
original creator.
Plus, we need a game that good to be wildly successful. Like, because, you know, whether or not outside factors are happening, you know, people in charge of other game studios are still just going to look at the spreadsheets and say, like, oh, not
Didn't
enough
sell well.
numbers. Do the other scummy business practices because those made numbers,
yeah.
you know? But anyway.
So if you don't want microtransactions, just buy the game.
Yeah, I guess it's an odd leap in logic, but yeah, I guess you
Yeah.
could make that.
it's
And
it's
so-
an argument to be made and something to be considered.
You buy
know?
it to support the gaming community, to support the developers, not because you're supporting the creator.
Yeah.
That's like you have to make sacrifices because it's like, yeah, if you don't buy the game to not support the creator, you're now hurting the gaming community as a whole in a way, but you're mostly like you're hurting the developers
Yeah.
who may have who probably have nothing to do with anything. Who some of them, who knows, some of them are like, no, I don't watch Harry Potter, and they're just getting paid to do their job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a real balancing act, and I can't fault anyone for whatever decision.
No,
they
you make the
Yeah,
decision.
yeah,
that feels
yeah,
best for you.
definitely.
I just
But-
thought the trailer was funny, where like it was an owl, and every single thing the owl passed by just really wanted to hit that owl.
Everyone's just like, screw that owl.
Yeah, just like the dragon was like, oh, I got a bunch of wizards in front of me, but this owl.
this apple right here.
Oh man. Well, to close out some other small news bits we didn't talk about, the Last of Us TV show started.
It was really
Apparently
good.
The first episode was kind of pog.
It was pretty good.
I didn't
was
see it, but
I was hesitant after the personal opinion alert dumpster fire that was Last of Us Part 2. And so I was hesitant about the show, but it was really good. Pedro Pascal kills it as Joel, and it's a solid.
obviously there's only one episode out, so we're not going to talk about it in depth because we need more content. And then the other thing, speaking of dumpster fires, the dumpster fire that is the relationship of Blizzard and NetEase. We talked about this back in November when it was announced that the agreement would be terminated. Well, Monday is D-Day, so next week we will probably have that as a major topic, seeing the fallout of that agreement falling through. The only updates we have is that like Blizzard put out a thing saying like, oh, we tried to ask NetEase for like a 6 months extension. They said no, trying to like pose themselves as like the NetEase, it's NetEase, and NetEase just kind of goes no, and they posted a video on Weibo of them tearing down the Blizzard's office and even knocking down a World of Warcraft statues outside. Like NetEase is fed up. They're like, Blizzard, you're the one that's causing all the problems here. We're not gonna do anything with you. So Monday, ties are gonna be cut. The Chinese player base of any Blizzard game other than Diablo Immortal is going to just
Why are they only keeping
because
Diablo
they have a
Immortal?
different agreement for Diablo Immortal. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
under the same umbrella.
So they'd probably burn that one to the ground if they could too.
that,
huh?
so the Blizzard
I
games
burned
starting
that one to the
Monday
ground.
are
Diablo
no longer
Immortal.
going to be available to be played in China. So any Chinese players are going to have to break the law to use VPNs or pro players are going to have to relocate to Korea to play there. So we will
Rip
cover
China.
that. We will cover that next week when we actually have stuff that happens.
Those poor Chinese players who are just trying to
They
enjoy
just
their
got
games.
Valorant.
They're trying to game, guys.
They don't have Fortnite. They just got Valorant, and now they're going to lose World of Warcraft and StarCraft and
Some
Overwatch.
poor Chinese guy who's been a long-term World of Warcraft fan, sunk a ton of money in the game. Is just
Well, Blizzard said that the player data would be saved so that if the games ever came back online, obviously NetEase wasn't happy about that because it's Chinese data. The government's no, you're an American company. You don't get to keep our data, so that's a problem. But
But how much harm can you do with the
it's
WoW
Chinese
account?
data.
Yeah.
End of story. Period. It's Chinese data. China doesn't want anyone having anyone's data.
I guess, yeah.
So that's the news. Obviously, there was a lot that probably happened over break that was 3 weeks ago that I don't remember.
Yeah, a lot happens.
A lot
but,
happens.
Hopefully, all of those in our viewing, listening audience have also been keeping up on the news, and you're really just
Maybe.
here for our analysis of it. But if we are your sole link to
I'm
news
sorry.
in the gaming, I was going to say
I'm sorry.
We appreciate you, but all right.
We apologize if we're your only source of gaming news. Twitter may even be better than just us. I don't know.
No.
If you're only looking for news,
Yeah, if
get
you're looking
more.
for news instead of opinions,
Good
Twitter
luck
can be
finding
good.
it.
good luck finding it. But
That's where I go for all my Fortnite leaks. Twitter.
I go for
Fair
my
enough.
Overwatch leaks on Twitter.
You can probably get a lot of good
Discord.
leaks on Twitter. Yeah.
There's some good leakers.
But speaking of Christmas break and heading into this new year,
Mm,
what is in y'all's wish list?
that was a good
Wish list.
Wish list.
My wish list.
None
Good-
of
good
us
transition
can
if-
talk today.
I can. I haven't stumbled yet. Yet.
Yet.
Yet.
Oh, this table's not wood. Well, no, it's not.
No, that's.
Anyways, so
Okay.
the new year just started, so we have a whole 12 months ahead of us. And obviously there are things we hope will happen, whether it's a pipe dream or on the copium, it doesn't matter.
we hope.
What we want to go through and each kind of share some things that we hope happen in gaming this year. So I think we'll just go one by one, each share one. Trying to drag on forever. We don't need any Game Awards, speech of
Christopher Judge.
Judge,
Love you, Christopher
15-minute speech. So let's
No,
start.
he's had enough crap for that.
Yeah,
you
Well,
know?
I gave him one more
He was
piece.
treated
Yeah,
with respect because it was a real thing for him, and it is a real.
This is
thing.
a real
I
thing
don't
for
know.
us.
I don't know.
Ben, you start us off. What is
Okay.
one thing that you hope for 2023 in gaming?
Arcane Season 2. I am.
Yes.
I have a feeling it's going to be this year because the person in the cinematic, the really crappy one that happened this year, the person saying all the voice lines was the voice for Powder
Oh, really?
in Arcane.
You think they thought that deep about it?
I don't know. Maybe.
They skimped on content. I don't
Fair.
think they were thinking that
But
deep.
I'm thinking Arcane will happen
Either
this
come
year.
out this year or in a release date.
I'm thinking that at Worlds they're going to do the same thing where they did Worlds 2021 where it was basically just all focused around Arcane, the whole
Mhm.
the pre series
You want pieces of content. You want to know that you either want it to come out or at least know when it's coming out.
know what's coming.
this year.
It's like
I was under the impression that Arcane had already been confirmed for a 2023 release.
I
Is
thought
that-
so
You can't
too.
trust anything that is said
you
nowadays.
can't trust anything that Riot says because Riot
No, I mean,
Well,
untrustworthy.
I don't even I don't necessarily remember reading something, but I just I guess I just kind of assumed it
Yeah,
was just because it seems like the normal.
I
release
feel like
schedule.
that's what it. I feel like that's what it
he's
fit
still
best.
hoping for it.
But I
Yeah.
mean, Arcane Season 1 took 9 years to make.
Did it really?
Yes,
Oh, maybe
but
not
it was
then.
also they were setting up everything. They were
So
still.
we want
trying
at
to- they were
least an
figuring it out.
announcement
Yeah.
of Arcane 2. Not an announcement of an announcement, an announcement.
We would like to announce that later we will announce the release
Yeah.
date of Arcane Season 2.
Arcane
I'm
2023.
hoping just overall Season 2 will happen because I hope it was as soon as they finished Season 1,
They cranked out.
they
started
rolled it out because
season two.
there's already a trailer for a teaser for
teaser,
Season
yeah.
2. So
I would
Yeah.
be
I
be
think that's a good
surprised
sign.
if it's not, or I'll be very sad at definitely.
What about you, Kyle? 2023.
Okay, so top of the list.
I swear, if it's something Genshin related.
No,
Oh,
Okay,
good job.
actually.
Anime.
It's not gaming related. Not directly, unless you.
My wish.
Just wait.
My first wish for 2022.
2023.
3.
He's going back in time.
My first wish for 2022 is that a lot of the crap that happened didn't happen. I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be like
It's
gonna be
2015.
January 1st.
It's Groundhog Year.
what? Battle passes? Microtransactions? What are you talking
Hop
about?
on Halo 3. We're
Hop
gonna-
on Halo 3.
Going back
Go
to
get your DS. We're gonna
2007.
go play Pokemon Platinum.
But for 2023,
For 2023, my primary wish is that Tears of the Kingdom is everything we hope it will be.
Nintendo
Which-
doesn't usually let people down with things
They
like
usually
that.
don't.
Yeah.
So
That would have to be a colossal fumbling of the bag. Like the
Yeah.
Chef Boyardee would have to be dropped all over the floor
well,
for it not to be.
yeah, but unlike some people, well, I don't know what your wishes are going to be, but unlike some wishes, this one I have hope in it coming true. So I'm going to start off with some positivity.
If it doesn't come true, we're going to have a lot of
If it doesn't come
questions.
true, Armageddon can't be far away. It's just
The second coming is nigh. Tales of the Kingdom failed.
Tales of the Kingdom.
He
Tears of the
fumbled.
Kingdom.
He fumbled.
I fumbled!
He fumbled. It finally
Actually,
happened.
he didn't fumble. Tales of the Kingdom is it's actually a
It's the
secret-
Sonic
it's a
crossover.
Sonic
Sonic
sequel.
crossover.
I have now confirmed the next Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games. It is Tales of the Kingdom.
Tales of the Kingdom.
When they're
It's
having
Zelda
in
and Sonic.
Hyrule.
Hyrule.
The companion character for this Zelda game is just freaking
It's
Tails.
Tails. He's just like, how did I get here?
Yeah, that probably is. That should happen.
It is my gaming wish that's probably going to happen.
That should happen.
I don't know about the other ones.
Yeah, I'll see my first one. Mine aren't in any particular order, but the one that I hope for the most is that there's just a crumb of news about the Knights of the Old Republic remake.
Oh,
Because last year it was announced, and then they had problems with the company making it, so they had to like give it to somebody else, and then we haven't heard anything since. I just news. I just want news this year.
Just want something.
Just like 3 or 4 pieces of news. Like
just
it
give me
doesn't,
some breadcrumbs.
it doesn't have to come out. We don't have to have a demo. I just want news. I just want news because I'm so looking forward to this game.
Mm.
I just need to know what's happening. All right? I don't need to know when it's coming out. I just need to know that it's still being made.
Yes.
At the very least, I still need to know that it's being developed.
Let us know that there is hope.
That there is life in the Knights of the Old Republic remake.
It's that line from Last Jedi where he's like, tell us there's something. That there's a hope.
There's a hope!
What
about you, Cort?
Mine is going to be an extension of Kyle's because mine,
Ooh.
I was going to say Tears of the Kingdom, but then the other 2 games that I want that are coming out this year that I'm just, please be good. Hogwarts Legacy
Mhm.
and Jedi Survivor, the sequel to Jedi.
Jedi Survivor should be
I'm
good.
excited for that.
And
Yeah.
if those 3 games are good,
You'll be set.
I can sleep easy.
He'll be able to die a happy
be-
man.
We could
I'll
have
be
a-
set.
A
Like,
pretty good trifecta right there for Game of the Year, right? If,
Oh,
if
yeah.
all 3 are good.
If
all 3 are good, that could be a really.
those are your front
tight-
runners.
Oh, and
Stray
Spider-Man
Part
2.
2.
Oh,
Spider-Man 2
right,
is coming
right.
out this year as well.
Oh,
So
the
I
game.
want that one to be good too. Yeah.
Yeah. Got 4 very hopeful
Very,
future
very
releases.
hopeful.
One of them will
Insane.
flop.
One of them will. and it'll-
Statistically, one of them will flop.
Ugh.
I mean, but the thing is you've
Hogwarts.
got
No,
it would likely be Hogwarts
It
because
would likely
the
be
other
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts.
the other 3 are sequels.
They have
to, like,
precedents of really good
incredibly
games.
well-made games.
That's true.
by like trusted developers.
And they don't have
If
controversies
anything- if
around
anything
them right
would
If
now.
one
flop,
of them
it'd
is
be
going to flop,
Hogwarts.
it'd be Hogwarts. But I'm really hoping. So
Yeah.
all 4 of those games,
Yeah.
please be good.
Nice.
Please be good. That's all we want.
Yeah.
Make
So we're
good
just going
games.
around again.
Yeah, we'll just go around again until we
All
all
right.
are done.
Well, this is my last one. Should be.
Oh, you only have 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Go.
I'm hoping to reach plat this year
In League?
and league
What are you now?
gold.
If you can't go up 1 rank in 12 months,
It'll depend. I have to put in the grind, but
how much of a grind does it require?
because there's like 4 tiers inside each.
Overwatch has 5.
So there's like gold 1 through 5.
Uh-huh.
And so I mean,
Okay. A personal goal.
I like it. It's a personal goal.
He wants to become a slightly above average player.
Yeah.
I
actually,
have that goal sometimes too.
Mhm.
I know the feeling of like I can make it to plat.
Ben already is a slightly above average player.
Slightly
Yes.
average above person.
Aw,
Aw. Wait,
you can make me blush.
You said average above.
average
Mhm.
above.
I mean-
He's above.
I
He's
mean what I
above
said.
average as a person. That doesn't sound like a compliment. Like, it technically is a compliment, but it doesn't sound like a compliment.
Did you guys ever watch that thing by Element Animation? Oh, look at you. You're so slightly less than average.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm talking about?
I've seen all that.
Testificate Man.
What about you, Kyle? What's your next one?
My next one is one that I only have a moderate amount of hope for.
Oh, the hopium tanks are only half
The
capacity.
opium tanks are going pretty high right now.
Oh, they're full. They're max.
They're
capacity.
maxed. That Wizards of the Coast will walk back all the crap they're trying to pull with the open gaming license. At the very, even if they release the new version of D&D on a new license, at the very least that they'll like make the old one, like just add that one, because it has the word perpetual in it. People are considering whether or not just suing them for trying to deauthorize it has legal grounds, and there is actually a decent case for it. But just add irrevocable to the original open gaming license. Leave it with all the previous editions. Just leave it. Don't touch it. Don't try to give anyone crap for publishing anything under it. I don't care if you release the new one under a new license. That's a little more restrictive. I'd prefer if you didn't. But at the very least, let us have what we already have.
So like put that thing back where it came from.
Put
or so
that
help
thing
me.
back where
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
So help me.
Honestly, if they fix it, it won't be of their own volition. They'll be forced to do it.
Well, yeah.
I don't think that anything that they do, it will not be them going, you know what? We made a problem. Let's fix it. It'll be like, oh, we're like losing lots of money. Everyone's hating us.
Which is, yeah, if it happens,
just
that's exactly
backtracking.
how it's going to go down. It's going to be backtracking. They're going to try to cover it up like, we've decided that we should side with our community. No, you didn't.
You were forced. You
You
were
realized
losing
the
money.
hole that
You
was forming
decided
in your
that the
pocket.
community had a gun to your head and you would rather not die.
No, not to your head. To the important thing. Your
the wallet.
bank account.
Your bank account.
No, you should have gone for the neck. Or was it the head? I don't remember.
The head. That's the line in.
Oh, then it is to the head.
Infinity War,
No,
yeah.
it's to the head.
It's to the head.
They wouldn't do it if it was only to the money. Oops.
No, they don't care about their head. They care about their bottom line, which is their money.
They care about their bottom.
I mean, that's where you store the wallet usually.
Fair. There it is. That's what you
There you
meant.
go.
That's
That's
true.
what you're trying to
right
say.
there in the pocket.
Get your mind out of the
All right,
gutter.
my next one is like the fact that I have to hope for this is just so telling of it is that Overwatch 2 gets its act together. The fact that I have to hope for this already is a problem. The fact that I have to hope for Overwatch 2 to get its act together is already a problem.
How much was the skin again? Like $20?
Free.
But
Oh,
there's
the
a free
skin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
the game,
20
the
bucks.
skin.
No, there were free skins. The Bastion skin was 1 coin. They had a gingerbread Bastion skin that was 1 coin. It's like, wow, it's
That's
so cheap.
one more than I want to spend.
No, well, no, but you'd get it for like you do like 2 weekly challenges over the course of like 3 months. But the funny thing is, it's like if you use the coin, it's like skins are usually like 1,500 coins. You have you have 1,500. You're like, oh, let me buy the Bastion skin. Now you have $14.99. If you want to get 1,500, now you have to buy $10 worth of coins to get the one more. So it actually was an ingenious business strategy. But no, the fact that I have to hope for Overwatch 2 to get its act together is the fact that I have to just hope for that is a problem because
Yeah.
PvE isn't out. They've said it's going to come out this year, but who knows if it's going to be any good.
No, I
That's
want
part of it.
PvE.
It better be. That is part of my hope is that the PvE actually just kind of is really
good.
good. Because if it's really good, a lot of the other issues will be like, okay, we kind of forgive you the PvE that is actually Overwatch 2 is good. So the PvE needs to actually come out on time.
and be good.
Oh, was
And
it
be
was the
good.
whole what was it? The Bridezilla or something? Frankenstein.
Well,
right.
that was
Oh,
an
yeah,
event. That wasn't
yeah, that was like
Junkenstein.
an event,
just
but
an
it was
event.
pretty fun.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a fun
enjoyed
Halloween
it.
event.
So it's like the PvE needs to come out in a reasonable amount of time this year and actually be good. Whatever they've done with the matchmaker needs to be addressed because it's a mess depending on who you ask. Like there's lower tier players being because what they've done is they've essentially in order to address queue times, they've compressed the ladder in terms of what kind of games you can be put in. So before it was like it tried to get the most even games possible, but now it's like to compress match times. You'll have games of diamond players and random plat players thrown in there to get lower queue times. Or they go like 1-to-1. So it's like if it's a diamond tank, they would do a diamond tank, but then your supports could both be gold because it's like, oh, it's fair. They're both gold
So basically,
players.
their plan is like, oh no, not as many people as they used to, as like
Well, no,
used
but
to
queue
are
times,
playing the game. So
queue
what are we
times
going to
were
do?
manageable.
Make it so even.
But
less
so
people
they're going
play
like,
the
oh,
game.
5-minute queue time's too much. Let's shorten it. And it's like, I would rather wait 5 minutes to get a completely fair game than wait 1 minute and get a game that's wonky, not balanced.
just steamroll.
So it's like they've got
Mess.
matchmaker issues. The PvE needs to come out on time and be good, and then they need to just be better with patches and be more like communicate better because like they have patches come through and there are heroes that are busted and they're like, we didn't adjust this hero because in lower ranks they weren't really getting playtime. You're like, Why do you care about the silver players? I'm going to be honest. Blizzard, please stop catering to the silver players and don't balance it on casuals, because casuals don't care.
Yeah, Blizzard.
I'm
What
Yeah.
he said.
I'm just there
Come
to hop
on.
into Overwatch and throw those little gravity balls as Sigma. I'm
Blizzard,
happy.
the casual players don't care that much.
It's that music.
What is that melody?
And it's like they like didn't. So like back in December, like Sojourn has been busted since release, and like oh, we didn't adjust her numbers because the silver, the lower ranks weren't getting a lot of value. She wasn't getting used. It's like, well, maybe it's because they just can't aim.
Heck, I suck at aiming, and even I do pretty good at Sojourn.
So it's like It's like, well, we're not gonna nerf her because she's not being used. She's not getting playtime. It's like they're just bad. Don't keep her busted at higher ranks because the lower players suck. Please, just balance normally. So that was what I was talking about earlier, is Blizzard can't decide what rank to balance to, and so it causes mess of nobody's happy.
Meanwhile, they're constantly nerfing Genji.
Always nerf Genji.
Always
Always
nerfing
nerf
Genji.
Kiriko's broken, nerf Genji. Roadhog's busted, takeaway's one shot, make sure you nerf Genji.
I'm pretty sure it's just on the doorway above.
Always
Like,
remember to
it's
nerf
just- it's
Genji.
just nerf Genji.
It's like on the door frame, tap it, you go in. Always nerf Genji.
Always nerf Genji.
Like,
Rule number 1 of Overwatch development.
in
nerf
the break
Genji.
room, they've got a dartboard, and they just put a picture of Genji on top.
What are we nerfing this time?
Genji!
If it lands on his legs, they nerf his
They
speed.
nerf his speed. I love the design philosophy. Leave it up to RNG and your ability to throw a dart. And if you're really good, you can purposely always nerf the same thing.
You ever seen the dartboard? How it has like the big spaces and the small ones for like double or triple points.
Mhm.
The double or triple points are like for other, what are they called?
Other heroes.
Heroes. For other heroes.
But it's
For the
exaggerated
big
even
ones-
smaller.
But the big ones are all Genji.
Running Wheel of Fortune, and just half the space is just Genji.
So that's what I'm hoping for, that 2023 writes the ship slightly with Overwatch 2. And obviously, the whole internet just has it out for Overwatch 2. I love the game. The internet hates it. I swear there are people out there who have never touched the game who hate it. I don't know why.
I know there are a lot of people who have touched it who hate it, though.
But they also love it. That's the thing. The content creators will always bash on it, but they still play it. I have sunk thousands of hours into this game, and I sometimes want to die playing it, but I keep playing it.
I know a few have stopped.
That
but
may
you're
not be a
probably
healthy
right.
relationship, but that's my relationship with Overwatch. I keep coming back.
On the next episode of Knights of D-Pad, we'll talk about developing healthy relationships.
Overwatch loves you too, Aiden.
That's Overwatch 1,
Aw.
Bastion.
You know what? We need to just make a tiny little ball cap and put that on that
Oops.
figurine you brought.
What's your other 2023 wish list? Moving on.
Yeah,
That's
we
Overwatch
should-
1, Lucio.
Dang it. You should get more Overwatch 2 loot.
I'll get there.
Not loot. What's the word?
Merchandise.
There you go. My second actually already came true.
Oh,
Oh,
already.
Already.
Wow, lucky.
And it did, and we talked about it earlier. It was that 343 gets the beef away from Halo.
Oh, man.
I have been waiting so long to hear that 343 is no longer making Halo games. It is so long overdue. I am very happy with that.
So the moment you saw that in the news, you were just
Oh,
like,
that's-
justice.
And that was like just the other day. That was this week.
I was very happy about it. I am very happy.
That's
about
actually, he's like, it already came true. 343 is getting the heck away from my Halo games. Praise be.
it. Yep, very happy.
That's actually really
So
funny.
we have some good news at the beginning of the year.
Exactly.
Court's wish came true.
It did. It was my...
And the other ones probably will too.
When you wish upon a
But
star.
when you wish upon Phil Spencer,
When you wish on Phil Spencer.
he removes 343 from your Halo games.
And hopefully doesn't replace it with someone who's actually worse.
The corporate exec.
Moral of the story, viewers.
Don't name your company after.
Dreams do come true. And also don't name your company after 343 Guilty Spark.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Ben, you already listed all of yours, correct?
Yeah. I
Kyle,
a
do you
fairly
have
short
one
list.
more?
Oh gosh. My another gaming wish is that I will have enough free spending money to buy a brand new game this year.
That's real.
Okay.
Well, I'm about to move.
That's true.
That's stretching our finances pretty thin right now. Yeah, and
Put it on our business expense.
It's a
Research for
business
podcasts and just bill it to the universe. You just
Wait, can
send,
we
you
do
send.
that?
No.
you know how much I wish we had a budget.
You put
to
the
just get a
invoice
game
email.
for us
You're
to
like,
play?
yeah, I need $120 to buy the super deluxe pre-order edition of Tears of the Kingdom.
And
No,
yes, the merch that comes in the box is necessary.
We're going to put it on the table.
Ask for 2,500 and say I need a new PC.
I need
so
a new
run these
PC
games.
to run Hogwarts Legacy.
No, you
I need to
cannot
know-
invoice that to the Daily Universe. That's not how this
That's
works.
not going to happen. If only there was a budget for stuff like that, but there is not. Then
We don't need a budget for that.
I mean, it would give us extra access to things to improve our content to review and talk about it in
Yeah,
more
but Ben
depth.
would only play League anyways.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I only play Overwatch.
Well, I'll have you know, I actually bought a handful of games because of the Christmas
Did you
sales.
play them yet?
Yeah,
nice.
I played the original Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It was pretty fun.
Okay.
Oh, and this actually reminds me, there's a fantastic sale going on.
There is
Let
currently.
me.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
remember
called
what
the
it is.
Vanquish Bundle. You can find it on Fanatical.com, and it's $8. and it
Holy,
includes-
is that for $175? Whoa.
Yeah, so it's $175 worth of games for $8, and I'm pretty sure it adds it all to your Steam
I
account.
think on Fanatical there's also.
You've got-
I don't know if it's still going.
You've
but
got
there's
Black Book, Streets of Rogue, Pathologic 2, Hellpoint, Chasm, and the Metronomicon. Slay the dance
Is
floor.
that a dance game?
It might be a rhythm game. It could be something like, well, I don't know, actually. I don't know a lot about these games, but I'm sure at least one of them is good.
I do think also on Fanatical or somewhere I was reading a thing. There's like it's called like the Shooting Star or something. I don't know, but it's basically
Sounds familiar.
it's a bundle where you pay like $7, I think, and it gives you 10 random Steam CD keys, which can range anywhere from like tiny little like
To like God of War.
to like straight up you like Hogwarts Legacy pre-release, like you know like
You're
Steam
really
keys,
putting
like-
your money into
That
RNG.
Yeah,
that
no,
is
it's
the
such
a
ultimate loot
gamble.
box.
That
That
ultimate
is.
It is.
Oh my gosh, that is like there's
But-
so many games on Steam, but if you get even just one banger out of it
If you
Oh,
get
yeah.
one
One good
$70
game.
AAA title,
that
I'll-
you want,
I'll just get
Exactly.
all soundtracks, like God of War soundtrack. And it's like, great.
all
Thanks.
soundtracks and one of those like $5 games where you're like, why is this not on the App Store instead
that's
of Steam?
so funny.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That,
$10
that
the
could be
I think
fun.
it'd be
$10
fun to
loot,
see.
the loot box,
Well,
the
it
Steam
was
Library
like-
loot box.
it was like there was like one and it was like
Did you have one more, or am I the last one?
I do have one more, but you go first.
All right, so my last one. Yeah, okay, now we're talking about anime. So I mentioned
Anime?
this before. So the new SAO game is coming out at some point. They had like a new trailer and stuff. They haven't given a date. I just need it to be good for SAO because the most recent one was not great. The one that I talked about in a previous episode and got a refund for because it was not great.
I always told you licorice is a terrible candy.
Licorice was not a good game. So I'm hoping that Sword Art Online Last Recollection goes back to Hollow Realization and Fatal Bullet mechanics and storytelling and doesn't do a thing where I have to put my sword away to pick up the stuff or put the lock on button and the jump button on the same one or not let me remap anything. Or have 90% cutscene, 10% game. Where that 5% of gameplay is trying to not press a button that I didn't want to press.
This just sounds like anime to me.
Anime.
Oh yes, because that one time I was watching Attack on Titan and forgot to press X instead of Z.
Yeah, I just
I
need it to
forgot
be.
to press play.
I just need it to be good because I will.
the
in-
X button.
Unless the reviews when it come out are atrocious, I will buy it at release price. Because I got $20 in my Steam library account. So
That's
I will,
not going to be enough.
Well, no, but I won't have to pay a full $70. I can just pay $50.
Ah.
So as long as the reviews aren't just terrible, I will buy it on release. As long as they're mostly positive, I will buy it. If it's mixed or any sort of negative, I'll be like, great, here we go again. And if it's very positive, we're all in.
Shoot. Here
Here
we
we
go
go
again.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the great thing with videos, we could even like just put little snippets of those meme templates actually on the video.
Well, we'll see what I decide
Now
to
we're
do.
getting meta because we're still being filmed. We're talking about what we're going to do in post.
What I'm going to do
Hi,
in
post, Aiden.
Yeah, hi, me.
I'm watching you.
Hi, Aiden.
Welcome to the Knights of the
I'm right
D-pad
behind you.
meta.
I'm
Look
in your
behind
walls.
you,
I'm in your
post
walls. I'm in your
Aiden.
walls. I'm
Christopher
in your
Nolan
walls.
is
I'm in your
directing all
walls.
of
I'm in your
this.
walls.
I'm in your walls.
Cort, what is your final?
Anyway.
Your final 20?
My final one? Okay, I was trying to decide between two different ones.
Two.
One of them is Fortnite related, so I'm not going to do it.
Do it.
Okay.
You have to. You have to. You're contractually
Wait,
obligated.
you
That's
haven't, you
true.
haven't
I-
shilled for Fortnite yet
You
this
need to show
episode.
for Fortnite.
Do you have a jingle yet?
For Fortnite. No, I don't.
Woo!
But,
There it is.
That wasn't half bad.
That wasn't awful. Mostly, I just want some more crossovers in Fortnite. I want some Star Wars stuff. I want prequel Star Wars
You
stuff.
haven't had enough.
I have not.
There's not
I
prequels
want
there
more
yet.
Halo crossovers. There's still so many
We
franchises.
need the
Lord of the
343
Rings.
Guilty
I want
Spark
Lord
in
of the
Fortnite.
Rings. I want
Lord of the
all
Rings?
kinds of new crossovers.
Just once
and
you
I'm
get, like,
hoping that we
Rings of
just get
Power.
a whole ton
Rings
more.
of Power, Matt Smith.
I can't wait to play Sauron in Fortnite.
Sauron, but like you could though, and it would be fun. I don't know.
Gandalf.
I'm hoping
Not to
for
lie,
more
seeing
crossovers.
Gandalf and Sauron go at it with a couple of SMGs
and
would be pretty dank.
Kamehamehas.
It'd be pretty dank.
Rick versus Gandalf.
A
It's
little-
already crazy
a little
enough.
chibi Balrog.
Chibi Balrog.
Yes.
Lightning McQueen.
Lightning McQueen.
Ka-chow.
The Balrog and Lightning McQueen
Wow.
going head to head. Who would win?
I am speed.
It's literally just like a flat 2D model slapped onto the 3D model for like a random
Yes.
default skin. And it's just like random like Rusties and red like a 95 just running around.
The other one, okay, I'm gonna say it anyway.
Say it
because,
anyways.
and this isn't necessarily like something that I really hope will happen, but like it could be good. Is for Nintendo to announce whatever the next console is after the Switch, whether that's
Ooh.
like a
The
new
Switch
Switch or like a
Pro.
Switch Pro or something along those lines. Because I have the sneaking suspicion that Breath of the Wild 2 or that Tears of the Kingdom might be
Too much.
a little too much for the old Switch, and so I'm kind of hoping that they put out something.
You know they're going to try everything they
Newer.
can to maximize performance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nintendo's really good at
It'll run
optimizing.
fine.
Because,
Like,
I mean,
it
they
ran- Breath of the Wild
they
ran fine on the
said
Wii
that they
U,
want
you
the
know, like-
Switch to last 10 years,
Yeah.
which
Is
is a
ambitious.
little ambitious because, what, the Switch came out in 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah,
2027, that Switch is going to be so far behind in
Yeah.
terms of hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Wii. It's Wii with just one extra eye.
No, it's going to be just like 6 eyes. Wii. Switch.
So
TM.
I don't think it'll come out next year, but I'm
Probably
hoping that
not.
we get some sort of announcement of either a
Like
Switch
E3
Pro
or a Direct.
or Switch 2
I would,
or
so
whatever
I
the
would be,
next thing
I
is.
wouldn't
The
be,
Wii Uwu.
The Wii U.
the Wii. Wait, no, it's already the Wii U.
The Wii U.
The Wii Woo.
Wii U.
The Wii Woo.
He's just standing there.
It's just gonna be called the Wii.
menacingly.
The Weeb.
Wii Woo.
A new console, the Weeb.
The
Weeb.
W-I-I-B.
Published
The
the
Weeb.
We will
No,
only
so-
be publishing video games based around Sword Art Online, Mob
I
Psycho.
mean, they already have like Fire Emblem and stuff, which is basically just anime.
Yeah.
It's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Toothpaste.
Nintendo would announce at least an upgraded version of the Switch. I don't
be
imagine that
good.
would be their next console. Like they're gonna try and get the Switch as far as they can.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I would be very, very surprised if they tried to just push the default Switch all 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Like we're right about the time that they come out with a Switch Plus or a Switch Pro
Yeah.
that is an upgraded version
An
where
upgraded
all the
version.
specs are just better, where the screen is higher quality, the Joy-Cons don't drift. Wait, that's not gonna happen.
Impossible.
But like where they come out with a more powerful Switch in like announced when Tears of the Kingdom comes out. Like Tears of the Kingdom comes out
That'd
and they
be
go
good.
release, coming in May, Switch Pro, and
I just hope that
If that was going to be the case, I feel like they would have already announced.
not really because it doesn't take a whole lot to announce just an upgraded version of your current console.
Yeah, but it'd be cool if they did like a cool presentation, just as long as the English translators weren't having like the verbal heart attack they had during the original Switch release. Do you guys remember that?
What'd
Like,
they do?
They ruined every gimmick because like the presenters are like, and now we will switch, but then
They
the
just translate through
translator is just like, and now we will switch over to the next game. Every time they'd throw that in there, I'm like, guys. I'm not
Stop.
2 years old. I get that we're switching to the next
Well,
thing in the
sometimes
presentation.
we're all 2 years old mentally.
It was
I'm always
just
2
like
years old mentally.
it just sounded like they were like having a panic attack in the booth doing the English translation.
They're just dead inside. They're like, and now we will
And now the world premiere
switch.
of the new Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Wednesday Adams.
It is. No,
Deadpan.
not even. It was just like because like they had this sort of like deadpan, but they were also just like throwing things in like, and now we will switch over to the next console, and this clarification, and that was like, guys. If I found this live stream, I think I understand the English language and can take the subtext
my
of
goodness.
we are switching to another
That's
presentation.
actually really funny.
So as long as they don't do that, I think they should do like a fun announcement.
Yeah, I would imagine we'll get it, maybe at I would say E3 might be our best bet. If not, then whenever they do Nintendo Direct. But I imagine this year we'll at least get an announcement of an upgraded Switch for a 2024 release date.
That'd be
Yeah.
good.
Because if an upgraded Switch doesn't come out by next year, I'm going to be very concerned for what Nintendo's like plan is.
Yeah, I've been reading like some, like there have been some like insiders who have basically said that Tears of the Kingdom is probably going to be the last major Switch game.
That makes
and
sense.
so I wouldn't be surprised if
It's like the final title and
the
then the
next-
release title for the Pro.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they did that for the.
They did that for Twilight Princess.
They're
didn't
going to
and
pull a
for
brand.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Here's what they'll do. They'll pull a Brandon
Wii
Sanderson and be like, "Oops, we made more Zelda games."
Oh no!
No. It's the Captain Crunch. Oops, all Zelda games.
We got Tears of the Kingdom and its sequel for the Switch Pro. Right?
Oops, all Zelda.
That's been Nintendo plus Sonic's whole like, oops, all open world reimaginings of our favorite game. Like, Kirby,
all
Sonic,
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, Pokemon, Mario Odyssey.
Oh my
like they're
gosh.
all like
They
very
are
big,
all the same.
and
You're
they're all
right.
incredible except for Pokemon and Sonic Frontiers.
Well, Sonic Frontiers was still better, way better than what we've had.
Look,
So
the bar
I'll
for
give
Sonic
that.
games is lower than the industry standard. The industry standard's here. Sonic is like on the floor.
The industry standard.
Though I will
is
say the
Chow
industry
Garden,
standard is working their
and-
hardest to lower.
Oh
that
yeah,
bar.
they're really trying to lower the bar. Just look at every AAA title. They're all trying. They're like, what can we do? Microtransaction down, battle pass down, lack of everything.
buggy release down.
Undercutting our content further down.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's
But
really-
anyway, I think we've had some good wishes. We've had a
Yeah.
few other things,
We'll revisit
don't-
these later. We're gonna forget that they happened, but we'll revisit them.
and we will come back.
We're gonna see how many
later
things
to
come
see-
true.
We'll come
We'll
back
have a
even
bingo board.
stronger.
A bingo board.
We had 9. I think we had 9. We
had
could do
9.
well.
Yeah,
we
we
need
could
to.
do a bingo
What do we need? Like
Y'all can't say bingo in this room. That's my gamer tag.
nope. Sorry, it's been said.
Gamer tag.
Too late.
All right. Well, finally,
Guys
of
can't
course,
say
as
noodles.
always,
Yes.
we have esports.
Esports.
So, Call of Duty League started. I think it actually started in December, and I just kind of like, oh, it started. But Call of Duty League is in their 2023 season, currently in their second stage. So stage 1, I think, finished in December, but that's in the past, so it doesn't matter now. So
Rafiki.
stage 2 started on the 13th, and so it finishes on the 29th. So like they do the same, like I think similar to Overwatch League, where they have like the stages, and then they have like a major with a qualification. So they just like, I don't know if it's I think it's a round robin. At least one round robin where they all play between the 12 teams. What are you doing?
What? No, nothing. I'm not doing anything.
So they are currently in the middle of week 2. So the first matches of week 2 happened yesterday. So last week, the current standings are Toronto Ultras on top, undefeated. New York Subliners are undefeated on top. Optic Texas is on top. Atlanta FaZe is undefeated as well, but they've all played different number of matches. So Toronto is 3-0, New York 2-0, Optic 2-0, Atlanta 1-0. So 30, 20, 20, 10 points respectively. And then Boston's 1-1, Las Vegas is 1-0. I think map differential probably played into that. Los Angeles is 1-1, Minnesota is 1-1, Florida's 1-2. London's 0-2, Seattle's 0-3, and Los Angeles again 0-3.
How do you pronounce the name for the Minnesota team?
Minnesota Rocker?
Rocker?
Roker? Well, it's
Roker?
got like a slash through the O, and I imagine it's some
Yeah.
like Nordic.
But like Rode
you
is a
wouldn't
brand of
roll the R.
microphones, and it also has a slash through the O, and you pronounce it Rode. So, Roker?
Roker.
Roker. No.
Oh, well,
No.
maybe.
Roker. Maybe.
It's like Reinhardt.
To engage the diaphragm, right?
Engage the diaphragm. So that's the current standing. So the first matches of week 2 happened yesterday, January 20th. So New York took down Florida 3-1. Optic took down Seattle 3-2. Toronto took down Los Angeles 3-0. The next series of matches happened today, January 21st. Oh, right. We're recording on Saturdays now. I guess we didn't mention that.
Yeah, and we're in a new spot because our old spot
Well, that
didn't
was
have
already
cameras.
meant. I mean,
Was it?
clearly we're in an old spot. This doesn't look like a recording booth, does it?
Well, yeah, but they
This
couldn't
is-
see our old spot before.
That's true.
They had no
We
idea what it looked like.
we're in a new spot.
We have windows
We're
now.
not. We are no longer in the BYU Broadcasting Building. We're in the communications Brim Hall News
I
Lab.
don't know how much you could actually see.
I don't know if that can be seen.
It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, it is really nice. I'm surprised we got this set up. So, anyways, the second set of week 2 matches today, and then the third set on the 22nd on Sunday, and then week 3 will happen the following weekend, and then the major will happen probably 3 weeks from now. I just didn't realize that they had already started. So the way that they'd work, it's like every win you get 10 points, and then I think they take the top however many to play in the major, and then you win the major, and it gives you overall season points. I think you get like 60 if you win the major, and that accounts towards overall standings for playoffs. So yeah. I don't play Call of Duty.
I think I did Call of Duty Zombies once.
I never
with
even
my
owned a
brother.
360. So
I played a
couldn't
couple of the
even-
campaigns of Call of Duty. They're kind of fun. Captain Price is a gamer,
Captain Prize.
gamer.
but
I would love, if I were to play a Call of Duty, I would love to get the old Call of Duty World at War, because I've heard that one is an absolute masterpiece.
Going to good old Call of Duty proximity chat.
no, we did that. Me and my brother played Warzone with its proximity chat,
Oh.
and we ran around and just like we would find people, and then we would just go like, hey, let's be friends, don't shoot, and then we get executed. But it worked a couple of times. It was kind of
A
fun.
few times it worked. Did I actually tell you guys, I made, so there was an international competition to make a promo for Call of Duty Warzone, and me and another guy who I work with at BYU Broadcasting, we entered that competition. I think we got 10th place.
Wow.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
Um,
So wait, is it getting made?
uh,
Is your promo getting?
Well, we made the promo, but it's not like it didn't win. It's the winner that
Yeah, it's
gets.
not going to get published.
Yeah, we got
I don't
10th.
know, maybe they
we
did
got
the top 10.
We got 10th place. Like
Number
that's,
10.
That's like an honorable mention. The ones they're paying attention to are the top 3.
Ah, too bad.
I want to
Yeah.
see it.
Now, what about League of Legends? League of Legends.
League of
Legends.
Legend.
as it's put on the agenda.
Wait, did you seriously
Yeah,
spell
I
it?
put it
Legends.
with like
It's with a J.
J-A-N. League of Legends.
League of Legends.
Yeah, I thought that was
League
pretty
of
funny. Anyways,
Legends.
there's not much to say.
Legends.
The Chinese and Korean leagues have just started. The European League started today. It's actually happening right now. I'm missing a game.
That's cringe.
I am honored by your
The,
sacrifice.
the North American League is starting this Wednesday at noon.
There's scheduling
So,
times for NA. I don't understand.
Guess because they made room for Valorant. Valorant's happening at their usual times.
Of course.
They're making. I still do not understand their priorities.
Anyways, the only thing really like there is to say is something that happened in the off season. So DRX, the team that won Worlds,
Didn't they lose like their whole roster?
the whole roster just left. The only person that is still there is Beryl, the support.
Welcome to esports,
Yeah.
where player salaries are out the window. Overwatch
Yeah.
League is the same way.
So Zeka and Kingen are now on Hanwha Life Esports. Their bot laner,
For some reason, I thought you were
Deft.
about to say life support.
They're on life,
life
support.
Oh no.
their bot laner Deft is on Damwon Kia, and their jungler Piosik went to North America. Is now on Team Liquid.
Oh, he wants to lose? Let's
He
go.
wants
He
to
never wants
lose.
to win again.
Yep.
North America, USA.
His,
It's like,
his
I've had enough
salaries
with winning.
his salary's probably somewhere up in the million.
I've had enough of winning.
Yeah, mine too.
All
As
right.
a school teacher?
As a school teacher.
I don't know what school district you're working for, but there's a lot of people that would like that salary.
I am exclusively teaching the children of Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and I almost said Elon Musk, but I don't know if that's true anymore. It is right.
Corporate warlord of Elon Musk.
I'm pretty sure he's still a billionaire.
Oh, no, definitely. There's no way he's not. But
he still though set a brand new record for the most loss of personal fortune within a year.
it's called Twitter.
Wow.
It's called
Yeah.
Twitter.
So
Anyway,
yeah, there's not much
Sick.
to say. It just started.
Well,
so
yeah, it's
we'll
the
have to
beginning of
see.
the year. Not a whole lot is going on. Overwatch League is. You know that meme where the guy's the whole room's on fire and he's like, "This is fine."
This is
Fine.
fine.
That's the
That's how the
Overwatch
Overwatch
League.
League. All right.
All of the most of the teams have gotten the services of a British law firm to bargain with Blizzard about the fact that they're not really earning any money.
That's right, I heard
None of the
about
promises were fulfilled, so they're trying to go after Blizzard. The Asian Pacific region is falling to pieces because
Aren't they losing China?
the Chinese players aren't going to be able to play, so there's rumors of them relocating to Korea to play from there. One of the franchises completely rebranded and looks like they just took the Vancouver Titans logo and just went, is it okay if we copy our homework but makes it look like we didn't? And players are moving all over the place. The Houston Outlaws have a sick roster,
Hey, there you go.
but they don't have all their players yet, and they only earned like $1.4 million, which for a sports franchise sucks. So the league is falling to pieces. Yay! We don't know when it's starting. Yay!
But at least we have Bastion.
at
For
least-
now.
Wait till it gets disabled again.
Wait till he's disabled again.
That's true, actually.
Or nerfed into the dirt when the Roadhog patch comes through.
They touched my sweet Robo Boy.
All right.
All right, so no more esports. We're all done.
Yep.
Anything to close with the first episode of season 2 with video?
Happy 2023.
Hopefully.
It's nice to finally see y'all.
Yeah, we're looking directly into
well,
your
and you guys
souls.
kind of get to see us now. I mean, I guess if you watch
the live
you
stream,
did.
the dozen people that probably watch the live
That tuned
stream.
into
Yeah,
the
one
live
of the
stream.
guys in my writing group watched the live stream. We occasionally talk about it. He liked it.
So those few people have seen us before. If you haven't, and you're watching on YouTube, you see us. And if you're only on audio, well, you're never going to see us. Sorry.
Ever.
As you can see, I'm like doing things with my hands. You can't see it, and I'm not going to describe it. I don't.
And
need a
that's why
play-by-play.
audio only is
He's making very rude
cringe.
gestures.
Yeah,
Audio
so
listeners,
Wax
he is-
on, wax off.
thank you to everybody who was with us for the first season and stuck around to come back for number 2. Thank you for all the people who are now just joining us. Talk to your friends and family. Pester them with your constant talk
Throw
about this
things at them.
podcast.
Throw things at them until they listen to you.
Like
Wait-
their games. Throw
Wait
their
until we
competitive
sell
games.
merch, then throw our merch at them.
Knights of the D-Pad does not endorse any acts of violence carried out on our behalf.
On our
Unless-
behalf.
For our behalf.
To whatever.
We're not hiring mercenaries to cause violence.
You're
You guys
not.
aren't.
Anyway, thank you so much for being here with us. And let's get into the outro. Knights of the D-Pad is an official publication of the Daily Universe. We would like to give a special thanks to Alan Neves, Miles Romney, and Melissa Gibbs for doing all the amazing things they did to set up this podcast in the first place, to help us set up this whole new studio, and basically make what we are doing today possible. We could not have done it without you three. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to our editor, Jason, who is
He's
right
there.
behind
He's now
the
in the
camera.
same room as
Do you-
us.
Yeah,
do you
he
wanna-
can- we
do you
can
wanna
see
walk
him.
onto camera? Do you want the
As he
audience
trips
to
over
see
all
you?
the cables.
Please.
Yeah, careful.
Let's not knock over.
No, but you're fast. He's right silence.
That's our
That
editor,
was
Jason.
Such a Jason move.
Oh,
Jason's amazing. He is going to help us make this show sound and look so good.
It will actually look good.
It'll
now.
actually look good
Actually,
now.
now actually will look good.
Right.
Because there's something to look at.
Yes. And also, fans, we want your contribution. If you would like to reach out to us with feedback, ideas for topics, to say hi, or to make a comment on someone's haircut, I don't know.
We want you for the U.S. Army.
If you do have a comment on my haircut, please give suggestions on how else I can style it. 'cause I'm
Wear a
pretty
wig.
ways.
Okay, let us know if you have fashion advice for him. You can shoot us an email at knightsofthedpadpodcast@gmail.com. There is no hyphen in that name, just straight letters.
There isn't Spider-Man.
Okay.
Okay.
Not sure how that's related. With that,
Church? I don't know what.
let us sign off. My name is Kyle,
I'm Aiden.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Cort.
and we are the Knights of the D-Pad.
Huzzah.
See you next time.
Huzzah.